For music listeners, streaming services have made consuming the songs we love easier than ever. For a reasonable monthly fee, you can listen to every piece of music from Beethoven to Travis Scott, and that's amazing. Having the entire canon of music right at your fingertips is a gift that we are lucky to have, but beyond the convenience and comfort of platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, there is something much shadier going on behind the scenes. As beneficial as streaming platforms are for music listeners, they do not treat our favorite artists fairly at all. Artists only get 0.003 to 0.005 of a cent for a single stream if they're lucky. Streaming has made it nearly impossible for working class musicians to get paid, and this has caused more and more trouble over the years in the music industry. To put this into perspective, the biggest album of 2023 has been Travis Scott's Utopia, which when the album dropped on July 28th, the record amassed 128 million streams in one day, which keep in mind is a top 5 record for most streams in a single day for any artist on the platform. What this means is that for the biggest musical blockbuster of the year, Travis walked away with anywhere from $384,000 to $640,000 off opening day streams, and while this may seem like a substantial amount of money, when all the costs of putting an album together that's marketing campaign had an entire feature film and had artists like Drake and Beyonce on the feature list, this is really not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things in the entertainment business. Drake charges over $1 million for a feature alone, so you can see the problem with streaming services. Compare the music industry to the film industry. An opening day for a blockbuster movie will easily rake in anywhere from $30 to $50 million, so with this major discrepancy between the music industry and all other sectors of the entertainment landscape, it has cause for things to get twisted. In the era of modern music, there has been a shift in the overall approach artists are bringing to the table. The philosophy of the streaming era has convoluted the quality of the music we enjoy in the best attempt to exploit and salvage any sort of change from the streaming model. Looking in the hip-hop world, to succeed in the streaming era, most executives and artists decided that the way to gain success through a streaming algorithm that is inherently against them is to boost their streaming numbers at all costs. While you can't make the platforms increase the wages they are giving to artists, by rapidly running up streaming numbers, you can make the largest profit possible, so adopting this business model, all of a sudden nearly the entire rap world began to focus on pumping out quantity over quality. We first started to see this in 2018 with massive albums like Migos Culture 2 being 24 songs and clocking it in an hour and 45 minutes, and Drake's Scorpion being 25 songs and an hour and 30 minutes. Now the crazy part is, it got worse than this, as from 2017 to this present day, some artists like Chris Brown would release albums that were 30, 40, and even 50 songs, which is just insane. You know the industry was facing a problem when artists were dropping albums that were as long as feature-length films, but despite how fans felt about the poor quality of these bloated projects, the sales figures told the industry that this formula was working, so from here on out, things would only spiral out of control. You can see this with a lot of artists who blew up around this time. They were able to break into the streaming algorithm, which caused for them to have rapid success, but just as quick as most of these artists came up, we have now already seen most of them fall off. Some of the biggest names from this wave include rappers like DaBaby and Lil Baby, who released new material so frequently that it quickly caused the quality of each new track to take a steep decline. No artist exploited the quantity over quality model streaming services promoted more than NBA Youngboy, as since 2017, the guy has dropped almost 30 projects, and while each thing he puts out feels more dull and lifeless than the last, these records consistently keep Youngboy on top of the streaming charts, so who can blame him for dropping music so quick that he leaves lines in his tracks like these? Now, beyond the pump and dump mentality that many rappers have been utilizing with their music, regardless of how good or bad the material they release is, the bigger problem is that most of the songs they are putting out are just so clearly uninspired and devoid of any real artistic integrity. A lot of rappers are simply putting music together that just checks off boxes and meets quotas rather than offering something of value to listeners, and this is another problem directly affected by streaming. With playlists holding so much power in terms of how many streams an artist can rack up in a month, this has caused a lot of the music coming out in the mainstream to feel like it's made for an algorithm. From repetitive trap beats to the same dull subject matter that you have heard about 1,000 times and you are probably sick of, these songs that are made and pushed so hard to be on playlists end up doing nothing other than further pushing the voiceless echo of originality through the music industry. It used to be preached that to make it in music, you had to stand out and be original to find success, but with the streaming rat race underway, it seems like the only thing being encouraged is to just blend in. With so many artists releasing these massive projects to boost their streams, and with artists only creating songs for a chance to get featured on a playlist like Rap Caviar, it hasn't just damaged the music industry by confining the creative borders between so many artists, but it's also saturated the market and continued to bring in genres like hip-hop diminishing returns as of late. Beyond the damage streaming is doing to the music industry, the streaming craze has completely lied to music fans, giving the entire world false impressions of how big their favorite artists truly are. As rappers like Lil Baby and DaBaby have over 30 million monthly listeners on Spotify respectively, you would think that these guys are superstars, household names that can move in any way they want, but this is simply not the case. Lil Baby had to cancel multiple arena tour dates because of low ticket sales, and in 2022, DaBaby was selling buy one get one free tickets like he was selling a McDonald's meal. The problem with streaming is the simple fact that because of the craze for algorithmic plays, because of the rush to get that monthly listener count up, many artists and labels have lost sight of what actually matters: pleasing the fans. It's this exact principle that has convoluted and confused entire communities like the hip-hop world, giving false impressions of what's really going on and what people are really resonating with. Because of how confusing streaming numbers have gotten, the only real way to tell how successful an artist is by seeing word of mouth on social media or to see how well they're doing on a tour. While streaming numbers have been misleading, if an artist can sell out a venue, arena, or stadium, putting real humans in seats, you know that they are really resonating with people. Over and over again in today's music landscape, streaming numbers have proven to be more misleading than ever, so if catering your every move to appease an algorithm does not actually equate to building long-term relationships with fans and building long-term successful careers, the question is, what does? While this may seem complicated to a lot of executives who are so out of touch and so hungry for these numbers, the answer is quite simple. It's an answer as old as time, but a lot of individuals, including the record executives and these clout-chasing artists, don't get it. Just be original and stick to your own vision. No matter how abstract your music is or how out there it may be, people are going to resonate with something that's made with dedication and care over something that's manufactured to fit a mold. Just look at artists like Playboi Carti and Tyler the Creator. They are doing some of the most unconventional things in hip-hop right now, and both have had 2 major arena tours in the past 5 years. So all in all, while streaming politics have given us a ton of mid-albums, an oversaturated music market, and whatever the hell NBA YoungBoy's been doing, none of this stuff will last. All of these numbers and all of the products from it are just smoke and mirrors that don't hold any real substantial value. At the end of the day, if you're an artist that has people buying merch, coming to your shows, or just getting support in any way, you have already won simply by offering the music world your uncompromised self. Let me know your thoughts on how you feel streaming has affected the music world and market, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton, and it is free to do. Thank you for watching, Mr. F, Fantastic Hip Hop. Catch you in the next video.